What if our number one priority was actually to manage our value chain, not just our company? Let's think about that. What would it mean to interact with a value chain? In fact, most companies aren't able to do that in a systematic way because their functions are often not connected, or the way that their business interact with the market are often not as tightly integrated as they could be. Not to leave it to sourcing or purchasing relationships to guide our suppliers, and not to leave it to marketing to guide what we do in the market, but actually to systematically develop a management approach to our value chain. It would start by understanding the interactions across our value chain. What bonds people together? What is it in that sourcing negotiation, or in that recruitment interview, or in that sales meeting, or in that advertising that links back to the other things people experience when they interact, that builds one common position across a value chain? What would it be that could take control of that value chain in that way? Well, we have to understand the interactions well. We need a management tool that focuses people on the right thing regardless of where they are in the value chain. What we do is simplify that to say that at each interaction point, there's an internal and an external bias, whether it's experience or priority or loyalty, there's an internal or external bias, and an emotional and rational piece of that experience. Again, whether it's a sales meeting or an ad or a sourcing relationship. If we can put something in the middle of that, we call that a positioning strategy. You can think of it as clear purpose, direction that a company's taking. And if that direction, that purpose, is true, relevant, and high value to everyone across a value chain, they can work together to achieve it. So that's the idea of a positioning strategy. Once you understand that, once you understand the simple way of describing your purpose and direction, then you can start talking about optimizing a portfolio of brands to reflect that. A corporate brand could be unit brands, could be product brands, could be branded commitments. Then you can also develop cultural uniqueness. Not just a good company culture. Of course, industry leaders have strong culture, but they have cultural uniqueness, meaning that the cultural traits that people know them for, that when you meet their people, it's reflected in the way they do things, it directly relates to their positioning strategy. So it's cultural uniqueness. On the rational side of things, it's about operational evidence. What you find is that good companies do a lot of things right. But the best companies know which things to prioritize and lift up as the proof that they are who they say they are. They know how to pull those key metrics, those cases, those examples of their success and say this is why, because it links to our positioning strategy. And finally, there's the alignment of marketing, which in many ways is the easiest once you have these other things clear. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at industry leaders from that perspective. We call it a quadric. And that quadric framework helps us understand the differentiation of these companies, how they're building it over time, and in fact can be updated over time and see the changes. And it reveals a lot.